Okay, thank you everyone, and welcome for joining us. And good afternoon and good evening, depending on the time zone that you're in. This is going to be the first of our webinar series is on leveraging technology for the civil society sector in partnership with East African Philanthropy Network. The civil society sector is always a late adapter when it comes to technology. And most of that have to do with the cost and relevance of the technology to feed the needs of the sector. So the things that we're going to do today is that first we'll give you a brief introduction about Tech for Dev. We'll give you an intro in regards to the WhatsApp chatbot and what Glific is. And thanks to our partners, we'll give you two case studies, one from Antrim Foundation and the second one from Rwanda Youth Voice. And they'll be able to give us in two of them. So the first one has been using the chatbot for about two and some time. And Rwanda Youth
Just a
was
minute,
just
David. Somebody is saying that there's no sound. Just want to make sure you can hear us. Can you hear us? If anyone, Temeke, can you hear us?
sound is coming clear. Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. So just to kind of give you an overview of what the program would look like, first we're going to give you a brief introduction about Project Tech for Dev. We'll give you an intro in terms of what a WhatsApp chatbot is. Then we'll discuss a bit about Glyphic. And we're fortunate enough to have two organizations that are currently utilizing Glyphic on two spectrum. One that's been using it for 2+ years, and Rwanda Youth Voice for Change, who just recently adapted Glyphic to create their own chatbot. Then we'll be able to do a brief basic demo. We will have a Q&A session, and we'll discuss about the upcoming webinar that we're going to be discussing about. Okay. Yeah, and as I said, these are the topics we'll be covering. So my colleague will go to the next slide, and I'll give you an overview of Tech for Dev and our current partnership we have with East African Philanthropy Network. So we're very excited to share this innovative work that we've been doing in partnership with Tech for Dev, as well as East African Philanthropy Network. Tech for Dev is a huge advocate when it comes to ecosystem collaboration. Our mission is to build and support networks of technology companies, nonprofits, and foundation working together towards a social impact globally to utilize open source technology. So we believe that collaboration is the key to driving social impact, and through various initiatives, we bring together nonprofit industry leaders and funders to promote knowledge sharing, peer learning, and innovation in technology and data solution. And as part of this commitment to this collaboration and this partnership that we have with East African Philanthropy Network, we are actually excited to expand Tech for Dev's reach to civil society sector in East Africa. This being the first webinar where we're introducing the different platform suites that Tech for Dev have. And like I said, we have an opportunity to interact with those that are using it, give you an opportunity to do a live demo. And just to kind of give you a brief introduction in terms of the actual platforms that exist, there are three platforms that we have. Glific, which we'll be discussing about, which is a WhatsApp-based communication platform that automates conversation, allows nonprofit to reach community members efficiently and effectively. Avenue is a community service and data collection platform that helps nonprofits gather valuable insight and improve their programs. And Dalgo is a data platform that simplifies data management, analysis, and visualization, providing nonprofit tools they need to make informed decisions. And beyond that, we have what we're calling fractional CXO program, which is to offer seasoned technology professionals who have worked in different parts of the sectors to nonprofit on a temporary basis to give them to address their technological needs and do an assessment in terms of what are the things that are needed for the nonprofit sector to leverage technology. So at this moment, we're going to do a poll just to kind of gauge, with the audience in terms of if anyone has used Chatbot, and you're going to see the poll popping up in just a second. And we really would like your feedback in that regard. So.
Okay, all right. Savit, I will take it forward from here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Let me just end this poll. Okay, so we have a mixed bunch of people who already know what a WhatsApp chatbot is, but we also have a few people who have never heard of it or are new to the concept. So what we are going to do now is we are going to just talk a little bit about what WhatsApp chatbot is, and then we will move into Glific. Okay, so yeah. So when you look at the WhatsApp ecosystem, WhatsApp has, I would say, two major categories. One is WhatsApp, which we use on our phones. WhatsApp Business is also something that we use on our phone. It's majorly for personal use or for small businesses. It's app-based. So this is one category. And then we have WhatsApp Business API, which is WhatsApp chatbot. This is a platform-based service, and this is usually used for organizations when they're having conversations or when they're having communications at a large scale. That is where WhatsApp chatbot is mostly applicable. Okay, so let's just talk a little bit more about what exactly it is. So it's a software application that helps you to automate conversation. So it's a tool that helps an NGO or a CSO to automate repetitive conversations that they're having with people on ground. It helps in offloading manual effort. So I can give a small example with respect when you're using WhatsApp versus WhatsApp chatbot. So for example, one person, because it's app-based, WhatsApp, it's app-based. So one person, if he is the person who is taking feedback from, let's suppose, 500 people on the ground. So this person is interacting with 500 people on WhatsApp and handling those the large set of data conversations on WhatsApp becomes very difficult. And that's where organizations think about leveraging WhatsApp chatbot, which is, where you can automate your conversations, put your conversations on the bot and let the bot handle those questions and queries and automate and respond to those queries in real time. So that's what the difference is between a WhatsApp and a WhatsApp chatbot. So it's basically one-to-one interaction on WhatsApp. We've also started experiments with WhatsApp group automation. That's also something that we've recently started with. But yeah, so but majorly it's one-to-one WhatsApp conversation that you will have with your end user. Okay. Now we've learned about what WhatsApp is, then WhatsApp chatbot. Now Glific. So Glific is a WhatsApp chatbot builder, which nonprofits use to run their programs on WhatsApp. So there are multiple different ways in which you can use your use WhatsApp chatbot to run your program on WhatsApp. So we have organizations from more than 8 sectors who are using Glific. Currently, on Glific, we have more than 100 plus NGOs that are from different sectors, having different kind of use cases. More than 50% of our nonprofits that we have on Glific are from the education space. But we do have nonprofits from different fields, different sectors. It totally depends on you. If you think you have a program where you want to have repetitive conversations and you wanted to take it at scale through WhatsApp, so you can think about incorporating Glific into your programs. Okay.
So
Right. Yeah, David.
thank you so much, Sneha. Yeah. So one of the things I think when it comes to conversation regarding technology is we have always the theoretical perspective and the real world application. And one of the things that we have today is, and we really want to give a big thanks to both of the organizations that are here. And first is going to be Anthem Foundation, which started work going back all the way to 2013 and has been one of the early users when it comes to Glyphic. So I'm gonna give the mic to Sibu, who's a senior associate with Anthem Foundation, and I had an opportunity to actually have a very long conversation with her when I was visiting to discuss how this product is impacting the civil society sector. So when I get started, let me ask you a few questions in terms of, while you're doing the presentation. The first one I want to ask is, what are the overall focus areas and need and purpose of the bot that you guys are currently using? And what are the challenges you were facing before incorporating Glyphic and how that has turned after incorporating Glyphic? So let me give you the opportunity to answer those, and I think I'll ask maybe one or two more questions.
Yeah, Sibyl, you can go ahead. Yeah.
Hi, can you all hear me all right?
Yeah.
We can. Mm-hmm.
Thanks, that's great. All right, so yes, I'm Sibel, and I work at the Antarang Foundation. I work in the content team of the Antarang Foundation, and I'm the one in charge of building the chatbot. And so since the past 2 years, I've been working on Glific and with the Glific team to develop Antarang's chatbot. So I'll talk a little bit about Antarang and what we do. Can we go to the next slide? Yeah. So Antarang Foundation is a non-profit organization in India, and we work in the field of career guidance for youth. So our career model looks a little like what you can see on the screen, that we cater to youth age 14 to 18 in India's public schools. And what we're hoping to achieve from the program is that they make an informed transition into a school or education or work opportunity. So research has showed that 30.4% of young adults in India are not in education, employment, entrepreneurship, or training. So with our program, we're trying to change that into them being involved in an opportunity of this kind. And so we try to enable them to make informed transitions to remain in education, employment, entrepreneurship, or training. So we have a co-curricular subject that happens in schools across the 4 years. So they have about a 45-minute to 60-minute session, which is conducted by a trained career facilitator in their school. So in 9th and 10th, they focus a little more on career awareness and finding out what is the right choice, how to make a career choice, what are the options available, what is right for me. Class 11th and 12th, they move on to a bit more of career planning, deciding what your next steps are for your future, jotting down that career plan and getting an idea of what workplace skills, what technical skills you would need in any career. And after that, also they can continue to stay in touch with Antarang. We provide them with opportunities like workshops, even sometimes things like networking, job shadowing, different kinds of opportunities, which they come to know about. One major way is through the WhatsApp chatbot. So the WhatsApp chatbot is introduced to them in class 9 itself. During the first session with Antarang, we tell them about the chatbot, and they're encouraged to use it throughout the program. Even after they have completed their 12th, they can stay in touch. They can find out about these workshops and other events that we conduct through the WhatsApp chatbot, and they get reminders. So that's how our model hopes to achieve, enable those transitions into education, employment, training. So how this need arose in the first place is also because, of course, we're saying students need to make an informed choice. They need to know what their options are and why they should make choose a certain step or choose a certain career. So Antarang initially, in addition to the program that we have, the sessions that we conduct, we also did this through WhatsApp groups. So the aim was to enable career guidance for everyone. It shouldn't be that, it's only in the classroom, that any time that you want, you're available to just at your fingertips, go to your phone for free at any time that you like, engage with career guidance in some way, get some information, look at the different opportunities, industries, careers, etc. So this is beyond the sessions that they have in school. And you can see what was happening at this time was that there were a lot of groups, a lot of messages. So a lot of students would either ignore the message because maybe there were too many coming from different people as well. So they'd leave the group, or because we were a community with such a large number, it was difficult to send personalized messages, and it was a lot of manual effort also. And because this was being done, on the personal WhatsApp app, it was difficult to keep track of, okay, how many students have been reading the message, how many of them are ignoring it totally. So initially this model of, sharing posters, opportunities, even like links to webinars and stuff on WhatsApp groups was becoming quite tedious for the team, a lot of manual effort, and wasn't the most effective with students. And so, yeah, can we go to the next slide? Yeah. So that is when the WhatsApp chatbot came in as a solution. And as an organization, we wanted to reach more students and automate the process to reduce the amount of manual effort we put in. So in 2021, we had trials within our staff itself. And we also launched the chatbot in one of our states. And at that time, we had 20,000 users. Now coming to 2024, where we have over 50,000 users, over 50,000 students coming in from schools that have, been a part of our sessions that are also coming out of the chatbot. And you can see initially also the attendance for our workshops, the online workshops that we were conducting, it jumped from like 20 to over 100 a session, because they were getting the timely reminders and notifications about, okay, when exactly is the workshop. It wasn't getting lost in the stream of things. And so why we chose a WhatsApp chatbot as a solution is also because the penetration of WhatsApp in India is also very high. If you have a smartphone, you're going to have WhatsApp on it. That is like one of the primary uses for having a smartphone itself. And even in low-income households, at least one person in the household still will have a smartphone. So even if the student doesn't have their own, they're still using their parents, siblings, someone's smartphone. And the problem with having an app is that many people think it takes a lot of storage space. You don't want an additional download. Then there's a learning curve of figuring out how to use the app. What is the UI, like what button even you have to press and all of that. But we didn't have that with WhatsApp because you already know how to use this. You already have been sending messages. It's quite similar. The learning curve wasn't much. And also doesn't take up that additional storage space. This is an app you already have. You just have to message this other number. So it was something that was already available. They didn't have to, worry about the amount of data it is taking to download and store as well. So yeah, we implemented the chatbot as a solution, and we started adding different features. Like we use the HSM feature, which enables us to initiate a conversation with the user. So we could send them workshop reminders, events of, okay, hey, this month, these are all the events we have going on. We also added more interactive messages to make it even easier to use the chatbot. So it's just about not even typing maybe a whole word, but you just tapping a button, like you can see to the answer. And we also added more videos about career stories from our different alumni, people who have completed the program and now are working or studying, and videos about different careers, industries, and so on. So we tried different formats as well. And so naturally, we also wanted to see how many users are on the chatbot. How are they using it? What is their experience being like? And so we also built data dashboards to track all of these things. And what you're seeing here is the three main success metrics that we use: reach, engagement, and retention. Reach being the number of people that are coming out of the chatbot. So we would see each month how many people, how many new students are we getting on. Engagement is how they're using the chatbot, how many messages are they sending. And there's different ways with engagement and retention, there are many different ways to look at it. This is just one way in which we're saying, okay, how many of them have completed a conversation, like what we have deemed complete, of say, okay, they start with this message. If they reach this point, then it's complete. So how many people have completed one conversation flow? What kind of responses are they sending to messages? Are they tapping the buttons? Are they adding their own, typing their own message? Are they getting stuck? Are there errors coming up? Things like that. So that's how we look at engagement. And then there's also retention, is how many times they're coming back to the chatbot, or at what interval they're coming back to the chatbot. We look at it as how many conversations they're starting, how many new conversation flows they're starting. And also we looked at it as, okay, from the time that they send that first message to when they finish their first conversation, how many people are dropping off? Are they dropping off after like giving their name? Are they not even, giving permission to WhatsApp to send them messages? Things like that. So these three metrics, I would say, can be used to understand the effectiveness of any chatbot as a platform. But of course, if to track the actual impact created, to say, okay, our students' understanding, that could be like a requirement. So specific metrics might have to be to cater to that the organization's needs. Like, for example, if you're sending a quiz, maybe something that we would want to know is how many people are sending the correct answer. And so that would depend highly on what kind of program we have on the chatbot, what kind of conversations we expect students to engage in, and what do we expect them to learn out of it. But yeah, these are the three. Yeah.
No, let me ask you one additional question. When we were having the conversation, there was a unique insight that you got in terms of the flow, which one was used, and how you're using that to modify some of your programming elements. So there's the external engagement part, but there's the data insight that this chatbot has created for your organization as well, too, right? So if you can just add maybe a little bit on that, I think that would be great. So
yes. So maybe if you can scroll up to the screenshots in the slide. So like you can see on the left here, that's our main menu with the different options that are there. So one way we looked at how people are engaging with the chatbot is saying, okay, what are the most popular menu options? And some things that we also saw are like, okay, Find My Career is, it was like by landslide the most popular option. But also career games, even though it's like lower down in the menu. So we saw, okay, students want to know more about making career choices, more about more details about careers, like what are the options available, what do they actually do, what like education or other qualifications would I need to work in this career. So we also looked at the kind of we are continuing always to look at the kind of messages we receive in each conversation flow, whenever we have these kinds of menus or whenever we are getting a response from the user. I mean, Glific has made the platform in such a way so you can sort of label the inputs that you think would be important to calculate your success or impact. And I hope that answered your question. Right?
Yes, and I think it gives a better insight. And I think let's take a brief moment, and we can do this in two parts. I'll open up the floor, if anyone, because we still have part of our presentation that we're going to do, if anyone have any questions, but we can use the chat as a way to engage. And if there's specific terminologies that you don't understand as well, please put them in the chat. We're more than happy to answer that. So let me open the floor to our participants. If you have any question, or so far in terms of the poll that we took at the beginning, so you have a specific understanding of what a chatbot is, and that was on a pretty high end. So do you have now a clear understanding of how you can use Glific as a chatbot builder to build a specific chatbot that you can use to engage with your community? I'll give like 2-3 seconds. If there is not any question, we can move into our next organization, which is going to be Rwanda Youth Voice for Change. And they're one of our newest in terms of being able to utilize the chatbot, and they're going to be implementing it in their program. So I'll give maybe 2 seconds if I don't see any raised hands. Sneha, if you can go to the Lillian's slide, I think we can go do that presentation. So.
Okay.
Okay, there's a question.
Sorry, David?
No.
Yes. So
No.
May I proceed with the question?
Yes, please.
All right, thank you. My name is Sofina Merino from Impact Direct, and this is very interesting. So I'm very interested to know the information that the organization provides that is fed into the backend. Maybe you can speak about that. Thank you. And maybe what does that process look like in terms of engagement? Thank you.
Sofina, can you clarify the question? Are you asking in terms of what are the flows of in terms of how the questions are formed, or the data that's collected? Which part specifically?
So how I understand it is that this chatbot journey is customized to the needs of our organization. So we as an organization say, come to you. What does that process look like? Because I believe we need to customize the back end of things. So what does that process look like? What do we need? Thank you.
So we'll do in the later part of the presentation, there's actually a short video that shows you how the flow is going to be. And one of the things is like, this is an hour and 15-minute conversation. So for anyone that is interested in terms of being able to engage and actually get a better perspective of how to implement it to your organization, you can, let me put these email addresses. We'll be more than happy to actually set up, a one-on-one and then ask, address your specific question. I think that would be much better than to use up this space. But these are our email addresses, and even after we do the presentation, we'll share the slides and a bit more information regarding Glific in terms of how to move into the next step. So any questions you have, you'll have many other opportunities to engage going forward as well too. So.
Yeah, just one addition to what David just shared. We will be sharing how the backend looks like, how the platform looks like. There will be a section of how an organization can set up Glific. So you will get a brief understanding of how Glific looks like. And if you want to set it up for your organization, how you can, what kind of platform you can see. So that we will showcase in some time. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Neha. And one of the things, that even in terms of the way we're presenting it, we picked two specific organizations. One that has been using Glific for a very long time, and our next presenter who's going to be Lillian, who they're just in the process of implementing the chatbot. So let me give Lillian an opportunity to go ahead, and let me ask you one question. You know, which programs or initiatives are you planning to integrate the Glific chatbot or the chatbot that you're creating using Glific? And I think the most important question, I think, for most of the participants would be what motivated that shift, you know, from traditional engagement methods to using the chatbot. So let me give the floor to you, Lillian. And I can repeat the questions if they're not clear, huh?
Yeah, but I think I got the questions. I'm gonna try and answer them, but you let me know if I'm in line or, you know.
Sure.
So before I start, like the host said, I'm Lilian Nwase, and I'm the head of communications and IT at the organization called Rwanda Youth Voice for Change. And I'm in charge of looking into how we are going to implement chatbot using Glific in our systems, in our initiatives. So briefly about our NGO, we are based in Rwanda, and we are focusing on youth in Rwanda. We are trying to provide health and well-being of Rwandans, particularly youth and underserved groups, through solutions, various solutions such as mental health, such as different initiatives where we include our youth to work, to be able to financially support themselves, and so on and so forth. So for now, we have various initiatives that we want to include chatbot, but our main initiative that we are starting with is an initiative that we've called Maestro Mind Lab. So this initiative focuses on supporting people who are struggling with substance abuse, anxiety, depression, and stress. And so we want to use chatbots to support the youth that are struggling with these things and can't really talk about them openly in Rwanda, especially where we've found that a lot of people take these as weaknesses. And so some of these youth are not really open to like speak to you in person. We used to use calls and texts, but we've also found that some people are really scared to be open to talk to you if they know that you're actually there, you're like live. So we found that we want to include chatbot in this particular initiative to make them feel like they are protected, to make them feel like they have their own space where they can just speak without having that fear of being judged. So that's one of our initiatives that we're really looking forward to implement chatbot, and we've started to, you know, testing it out, and we so far have a positive outcome. But also another initiative that we want to include our chatbot is our educational side, where we usually share educational resources. We have community engagement activities, and we want to like connect with our community, get feedback, and know what we can change. And so we want to use chatbot in that way. I think another question that you mentioned was what motivated us to move from our traditional ways, is that right? So the shift of using chatbot, firstly was motivated by, you know, giving people privacy, like I said, but also we were motivated about just collecting data in a very timely manner, where we are collecting data 24/7. Versus when we were collecting data through calls and texts, and we had to be present. And if per se at night we weren't present, then some of these people couldn't really access our services, which we want to make available 24/7 to our clients. But also we wanted to have like a streamline of our communication process where we can handle repetitive queries, you know, and allow ourselves to focus on more complex and personalized interaction, while our chatbot is just, you know, helping our clients on those repetitive questions that come in. And so it had helped us to delegate our labor in a timely manner way, where we can focus on those very personalized questions, while our chatbot focuses on those questions that we have, put in our flows. I don't know if that answered your questions.
That covers it. Let me add, I think, one thing, which, in most cases, I think there's always kind of an age divide in terms of using technology, especially when it comes to new technology, right? So, and I think you being a youth organization and having kind of, youth leadership, is that the reason you made in terms of being able to adapt Glyphic? Or when you're actually building the chatbot, that it's actually an easy thing to use? And we will do some demo and of that. I want to hear it from you, in terms of building the flows and all those kind of things.
So sorry, can you repeat that? I didn't get.
In terms of, there's always an age divide being kind of an advocate for technology or using technology, right? And in your organization have a lot of young leaders in it, including yourself. So is that the major reason to use technology? Or do you actually see, Glyphic kind of as an easy element of being able to implement it, depending on the level of knowledge you have about technology?
I would say both. Definitely, we've always aimed to move from traditional ways and move to those more protected technology ways in all our systems that we really had it. But also the main reason why we chose to go with Glific is because it's really seamless to use Glific. Even if you have like the least training in IT, it's been very, very easy to just implement Glific in our programs with any limited experience, compared to if we could have used another program that we need to train, we need to code. It's been easy. It's been complementing us wanting to include technology in our system, but it has also just made it so easy with the least training. So I would say both of those really motivated us. We've wanted technology, but it was also like the easiest technology to include in our system.
Thank you so much, Lillian. That is great to hear. So let's go ahead and kind of give you guys a sneak peek in terms of what a user or an organization would see when they're building their chat flow. So Sneha, can you go ahead and play that video?
Let's explore the Glific platform. On the right side, you'll find all your chats. Click on any of the chats to view the entire conversation history. At the top right, you will find collections where you can group users and send messages to specific groups. On the left side, you'll see flow section, where you can create and manage your chat flows. Here is an example of Glyphic's chatbot, which in this one, you'll see how you can use drag and drop nodes to build a simple conversation. You can include interactive features like buttons and lists. To test your flows, there's something called as preview tab, which helps you to build your flows, but not only to build your flows, but also test your flows. You can see translate here on the top. It allows Glific to auto-translate content into default languages of the flow editor and have the translations populated in other languages enabled in the Glific instance. These are the languages which are already here. You can add more languages in the settings section. On the side, you will also see Google Sheets integration. This is one of the most commonly used feature as NGOs work heavily on Google Sheets. You will find support tickets. So support tickets streamline the process of submitting queries and assigning staff members for each query. In the quick tools section, you can create interactive messages with button and list options and set up template messages for sending pre-approved structured message outside the 24-hour window. There's also an option for bulk applying these HSM messages. Now, if we move to the settings tab, you can configure your organization's name, enable multiple languages, and view third-party integration tools or third-party tools here. Glific is designed to be user-friendly, especially for nonprofits. It has a friendly UI, and you don't require any technical skills to run the platform.
Okay, thank you very much. And let me go ahead and pass this to my colleague Guntem, and he'll be actually able to give you a bit more in terms of the other specific features that you can add. So let me pass the floor to him.
Thank you, David. I'm just going to pick up a word Lilian had mentioned, which is easy, right? When you make it very easy for your end user, the community, to use or interact with you using WhatsApp, it has to be equally easy for you to interact with them, right? Otherwise, there's no point of automating anything, right? So these are some examples of how easy we make your work, right? Somebody had earlier asked, I think Gayatri had earlier asked about ChatGPT and LLM. We make it very easy for you to load your files on the backend. Just imagine a PDF, a Word document, right? You load it, and it could be in English, and then you can write a simple prompt where you say, based on the question the user asks, do X, Y, Z. So if you want to do assessments, answer FAQs, explain concepts based on what questions they ask, right? Or go through a huge file where there's a knowledge base and answer, like step by step, how do I revive a plant, for example, right? These are things which you can do with ChatGPT. Some very interesting use cases we are seeing of late, right? A goat trader community is using this integration to take photographs of the weight of the goat. Another community which works with water is using this to automate by photographs the water reading for the day. So these are some simple examples how you can use ChatGPT or LLM. It'll auto translate to whichever language you are enabling. Next, speech to text. If you're working with target audiences who are more comfortable with voice notes or are more comfortable giving you long format responses as voice notes, this will be something you will find very useful. If you also have communities who are going to be finding it easy to listen to instructions rather than read it, speech to text or text to speech will be of use to you. Like Sneha earlier said, Google Sheet integration is one of the most powerful things we have done so far, because any organization loves the structured format of a Google Sheet, right? Anyone and everyone in the organization knows how to use a Google Sheet, whereas anyone on the ground knows how to use WhatsApp. So we make it easy for you to take conversations in WhatsApp and structure it into Google Sheet the way you want to. You can also, as you write, you can also read from a Google Sheet, right? So for example, let's say you want to log a request for, let's say, stationery, right? And you have a workflow where at the end of the day, you put a status, and then you want the user to be able to retrieve the status at the end of the next day. You can use this feature to read as well as write. Like one of our, like Jyoti asked, we make it, by default, Glyphic is designed to be multilingual, 12 languages, which are actual languages you can enable. So for example, Kenya has this language called as, has this thing called as Sheng, which is a mixture between Swahili and English. That is not a language. So you will not be able to support that. However, you can support English, Swahili, and if you are able to create a workaround, you can actually support Sheng. But right, Swahili, English is very easy. Now, like Sybil said, all of the information you collect via the chatbot is of no use if you can't make dashboards very easily. One use of doing Google Sheet integration is that you can do pivot charts, dashboards in the most simple format on the fly. However, you can also integrate something called as Looker Studio to give you project level dashboards, programmatic dashboards, If you guys want, we can share some examples later. Last thing, how do you personalize? How do you make it relevant? How do you make it contextual to the user? Because we use something called as variables. You can, based on who's reading the message, you can bring up their name. You can split a conversation based on the details that are given, could be age, gender, anything you want. So we make personalized content very easy from get-go. If you have any questions, feel free to put it on the chat window. Else, back to you, David.
Thank you so much, Kanta. And I put in here, so one of the things that's very unique about Project Tech for Dev is we kind of document everything that we do. So we have multiple blogs whenever we have events, gatherings, data, and then we put them on there. So this will give you can read about all the platforms as well as the fractional CXO program, including the specific cases that Glific has. That there's different city meetups that happen for Dalgo. There's data catalyst events that occur. So I recommend that you go ahead and kind of explore those parts. So Sneha, can we go to the next slide? So I think, when it comes to there's two elements, right? You have usually technology advocates that are an organization, then you have this organizational decision that has to happen. So, and for each of those elements, there has to be benefits at the different decision-making parts. So for me, in terms of being able to address, like, why are we going to be implementing Glific within an organization? So that would be a top level decision. So there's three specific things and three specific benefits you have. One, you'll be able to broaden your impact, reach a larger audience at a lower cost. And this is one thing that's always a case is most civil society sector NGOs that operate at what I call it a very limited resource. So any resource that's used always has to have scale and impact. So that's one line. Second is being able to streamline your operation. So some of these kind of monotonous day-to-day tasks, as both our organization has said, any FAQs in terms of your community outreach that you do, now you're able to streamline and automate them. And the other important element of it is, for me, specifically that I value the most, is being able to gather valuable insight. There's been a push and an advocacy when we're talking about development and how it has worked in the past, and a push for where localization and voices from the community. So part of this engagement is you'll be able to actually gather valuable insight, and based on those insights, be able to change the specific programs that you have. So you'll be able to actually have input from the communities that you engage with. Can we go to the next one? So, and the other one, I think this could be both, from a personal level as well as an organizational level, is both of my colleagues have said, currently we have Glific being used by 100 plus NGOs, most of them being from India, but some now currently happening in East Africa. It requires low technical skills to run, which is, for me, the most important element. And I think one part of Tech for Dev is that we're always building technology based on the lived experience and pain points, and being able to implement and use that technology that's specifically fitted for the civil society sector. And then, as my colleagues, as well as our two partner organizations have joined us and said it's easy to launch, pilot, and scale. And you have a very strong support team when it comes to our team in Tech for Dev. And it gives you an ability to do extensive documentation, which in many ways would be able to have an impact in terms of being able to fundraise as well too. So I think we can go to the next one. So one of the things is you always have to see if this specific, implementation of this technology is going to be able to fit with your organizational needs. And because of our extensive interaction, we want to always recommend this product to those that fit this checklist. So one of the things is that if your organization is engaging with 500 plus community members and want to scale, so that's an important element, because if it's going to be 500 below, there can be other things that you can use. But like I said at the beginning, we're more than happy to have a one-on-one conversation and discuss, if your specific engagement number would be a fit for this one. And the other one is, I think, to maintain strong relationship with all community partners, which is a priority, and that the initiative features regular interactions and collaboration with community you serve, which is an important element as well. And the other portion is that we both have the resources to oversee the platform. So now we're going to go to my favorite part. So, and we're going to ask you to take your phone and go to your camera. We're actually going to test this out. I think one of the things is there's always discussion, but it's always fun to kind of test out. So if you scan this QR code, so I think just like I've been doing this quite often. I actually really enjoy it. So let me know if you're running into any issue. So please just scan it and you will get a prompt. It will go to WhatsApp. And I think you will see something. I don't know if you can see my screen, but something similar like this, where it would say OBF new, and it says, hey, Aki. So, and all you do is you just press. Please explain what this is. Oh, yes, thank you very much. So basically, this was designed by Quest Alliance to engage with grade 6 to 9 students, to teach them about computational thinking using games and puzzles. So it's an actual product being used to engage with students. And it used Glyfic Chatbot Builder to build this. So thank you for reminding me of that. So let me know if anyone is interacting with it or having. Okay, I'm not seeing anyone is having any issue. Yeah, and you just follow the prompt, and if you remember the video that Steve showed, so this would be what you would create would be a flow. So out of that flow is where this interaction comes. So, and you engage with it, it replies back, and so. Oh, it's working. Okay, thanks, Nicole. Let me know if anyone is having any kind of issues. Yeah, and at some point the interaction will end. So. Okay, so I think, yeah, that should conclude it in terms of being able to do the live demo and test it out. So let's go into any Q&A. Let's, okay, yeah, let's use, yeah, we can do any Q&A. And like I said, you could still, now you don't need to raise your hands unless if there's, you can unmute your mic and ask any question. And we're actually keeping time, which is great. So. I think someone will have to be brave enough to raise their hands or unmute themselves and ask any question you have. Okay, give a. And while we're waiting for this, go ahead. Yeah.
Hello, how are you?
Hi,
Thank
Fazil.
you.
How are you, my friend?
Thank you for the presentation. That was very well put. And I wanted to ask an organization if they are ready to come on board Glific, what are the steps to onboard the organization? That was my question, kindly. Thank you.
Snehad or Gantam, you want to take this, or do you want me to answer?
Sure, I can take this one. Okay, so couple of steps when once you decide that you want to get onboarded on Glyphic, the first step is to get a phone number that you are going to use to run the chatbot. That's number one. The second is Facebook Business Manager verification. So basically Facebook Meta, what they do is basically they verify whether you are a legit business entity or a legit non-profit that wants to run a chatbot service. So they are going to verify the account. That's number two. And once these two processes are done, we then set up your account in one day's time. So that is how it happens. So with respect to timelines, it takes between 1 to 4 weeks, depending on how easily you are able to access phone number, how easily you are able to do the Facebook Business Manager verification. So yeah.
Thank you very much. Well understood. Thank you.
Yeah, and one thing, Vasil, is so I'm putting our email address here. So if you can send us kind of a personal email, we'll be more than happy to set up a call with you this week or next week based on your availability. And we can give you a better expansive explanation in terms of, being able to move forward to the next step. So
thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, my friend. So I'm gonna open the floor, and I went ahead and put in 2 case studies, and I did share this with you guys when I sent out the reminder that this is another use how this chatbot has been used. It's a really nice case study to read. So please feel free to just unmute yourself, or if you feel you would want to raise your hands as well. Yeah, so if we don't have I think too many questions, then I think I can kind of go to the next part. First, we really do want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to present this and giving us, I think, the most important gift, which is always time. And then as part of that, and then as part of our partnership with East African Philanthropy Network and Tech for Dev's job of expanding its outreach to the East African civil society sector, we would like to offer an opportunity to create what we're calling like a Glyphic Accelerator program. And for those who are interested, and this would include in terms of some discounts that we can offer to go ahead set this up, a bit more explanation. And then, like I said, I've shared those emails. You can email all of us. You can choose one, but we'll be more than happy to go ahead and set up one-on-one and be able I think, like I said, we really want to do the checklist of assessing whether this is the right technology for your organization. And that is one of the driving principles when it comes to Tech for Dev. So do that assessment. And if we see this technology is a match that you can leverage to be able to enhance your impact, we'll be more than happy to discuss what the next steps would look like. So yeah, and I think with that we can go to the next slide. So like I said at the beginning, so this is the first of series that we're having. So the next webinar that we're gonna have is gonna be for October 3rd. It's still gonna be in the same time. And this is to give you a specific insight into one of the other platforms, which is Dalgo, as I said earlier. And this is a platform that simplifies data management, analysis, and visualizing, providing nonprofits with the tools they need to make informed decision. And there's a lot of things you can do with it. Like I said, we'll do that next. And I think the month after that, we'll do the platform, which is ABME, and that's a data collection tool, and that helps the nonprofit gather insight. And the fourth webinar is going to be specifically focused on our fractional CXO program, which is where we offer seasoned technology professionals to partner with an organization on a temporary basis to kind of map out the technology needs regarding where that organization has to go. So we'll be able to do a deep dive on that one as well too. So yeah, go ahead. Please don't raise your hands. You're more than, yeah, just unmute yourself.
So hey, hi, David. I just wanted to let you know that yeah, we would be interested on a one-on-one session to understand how Glyphic can support our tech needs. We have a very large customer base, and I'm representing Youth for Jobs, which is also from the PWD sector, the person with disability sector. So it was very interesting to see the text to speech and speech to text feature that you had that Gautam had explained earlier. But I'd definitely be interested to know what other accessibility features exist on Glyphic, along with the multilingual features like can we configure other languages, etc. And also the integration with the platform that we have ourselves, which is called as Swarajability. Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Sneha, you want it? I'll put our email address, and then you can yeah, we would be more than happy to do that.
Sure.
Okay, my friends, I love when we keep time because I know we all, one of the things about our sectors, we're all overworked and busy. So I think it looks like, we were able to answer your questions, and I'll put this again. And one of the things we really would like to do is set up a one-on-one to discuss this further. This is just a brief introduction. So if no one has any question, and if my colleagues maybe want to add a few ending words, I think we can conclude series one of our webinar. So Sneha and Gautam, any lasting words that you guys want to say?
Looking forward to a chat with all of you guys on your own use case, because everyone has something which is very interesting and allows us to have a deeper chat on what we've tried out, all the mad experiments we've run so far, right? You'll love the conversation. Neha?
Yeah, I mean, just adding on to what Gautam shared, I think even if you are confused about integrating Glyphic, or even if you just have questions, right? Questions about Chatbot or how Chatbot can be part of your program, or in general, you want to, just get in touch with us and stay updated on what's happening. We're happy to have a conversation with you. So yeah, I think that brings us to the end of this webinar. Before we close, we just want to just want to run a poll to understand the feedback from this webinar. Aishwarya, can you just help us pull that? Yeah. Would request everyone to just share their responses. There's a poll up on the screen. We'll wait for a couple of more seconds. I request you to put in your responses because this is going to help us in coming up with a better webinar going forward. So all right, last 10 seconds and I'll hand it over to you, David.
No, I like I said, I think I really want to thank everybody, and we just want to make this as a beginning to our journey. So when we've shared our emails, and then as both my colleagues have said, any questions that you have and you want an in-depth understanding of it, including the other platforms that we have, I'm more than happy to engage. And on East African time, it's 5. To my friends that are in India, it's past dinner time. So we'll go ahead and conclude this webinar. And we really want to thank you and have a good evening, everyone.
All right. Okay, everyone, have a good evening then. Okay.
Everyone, good day.